Because so many North Texans in the past few years have seen such a jump in their property values and in their property taxes, we are actually devoting a whole lot of this 4 o'clock hour to this very topic. And don't change the channel if you rent, because this can have a big effect on you too. I want you to check out this one street. It is near Love Field, and it's called Prosper Street. And just look at this as we scroll down. On this one street, there are more than 4 dozen properties that have gone up in their appraised value by more than 100% over the last 5 years. 211%, 178%, 223%. That's a lot of properties all in one street. And this is not a rare thing either. In fact, look at this spreadsheet here. This is from the Dallas Central Appraisal District, and we found tens of thousands of properties in Dallas Appraisal District alone that have gone up by more than 100% in the last 5 years. Take a look.
This is Ross Angus Williams' 1,900 square foot East Dallas home built in 1950. It's not like the historic Tudor homes nearby, but he thinks it's being valued like one when he sees his new appraisal and estimated taxes.
$8,986.
What do you think when you see that figure?
That's an incredibly large amount of money for taxes.
Just 2 years after moving in, he's already wondering how much longer he can afford to stay.
I know at least one of our neighbors that just moved out and sold their house said that a major reason why they moved was because the tax value had gone up so high that they couldn't really afford the payments anymore.
Williams says rising property taxes have increased his monthly mortgage payment by $500. And that could go up even more as the value of his house continues to soar.
The percentage difference between the 2012 appraised value and the proposed 2017 appraised value is an increase of 129.47% over a 5-year period.
What do you think when you read that?
That's insane.
His is one of more than 100,000 properties in the 4 big appraisal districts in North Texas that have exploded in value by more than 100% in just the past 5 years.
He got everybody stressed out.
It's getting pretty hard to prosper on Prosper Street in Dallas.
Woo-wee. Ain't the right location.
So says Jacqueline Johnson, whose rental is one of 44 addresses on this street that have risen in value in the last 5 years by triple-digit percentages. And these are small homes, many without central air, many in disrepair.
Look around. Keep your head up. Look around. It's not worth what they're saying.
Her landlord is now fighting this year's appraisal, and she worries what will happen if that fight fails.
I'm going to get evicted, and it's just not easy to find a place.
Her neighbor, Diane Johnson, bought a home here for $40,000 years ago. Her latest value, $153,000. She suspects her appraisal exploded because of the rebuilds down the street.
And they building more. It's more to come. We've been inundated with tons and tons of, we'll buy your house, and then we got them now, they knocking on doors. We'll pay this much amount for your house.
If the investors don't get you, she says, the taxes eventually will.
The takeover is what I call it. It's a takeover of the neighborhood.
And that is happening in a lot of neighborhoods around North Texas. So how do you or your landlord, if you're a renter, dispute your valuation? All right, just before the break, we talked with people who have seen huge increases in the valuation of their properties. That can be a good thing because your property actually is gaining value, and when you go to sell it, you get more money for it. But can also be a bad thing if you're having to pay a lot more in property taxes because that value just keeps on going up. Let's show you some numbers here. Last year, this is how many people protested their appraisals in the 4 big property districts in North Texas. Many hundreds of thousands of them. And in many cases, they were successful. Here's how many values were changed in some of those appraisal districts. Dallas says that it doesn't actually keep numbers on this, but in the other 3 counties, if we can show those, in the other 3 appraisal districts, there they are, tens of thousands of people actually saw their valuations change because they went down there and protested. If you want to protest, there is this YouTube guide.
Discuss your property values? Click it again. Welcome, you're in the right place. Click next.
Okay, that was posted by Chandler Crouch of Chandler Crouch Realtors, who joins us live this afternoon. Chandler, we did a story with you recently with our Lauren Zakalik talking specifically about this, and you put that video up on YouTube. Talk a little bit about what the viewership has been like on this, because I think it kind of gives us a little bit of insight into how many people are going through this right now.
It's been incredible. We've had over 20,000 people, I believe, watch it.
At first you were sort of guiding people through how to go about the process, and then you just started saying, well, you know, forget about it. I'll just go ahead and start doing their actual protests myself.
This morning, I believe the number was around 1,900 people or so that we've helped protest their property tax value. It's just been incredible. The number, like I said, it's increasing exponentially. I believe we're up to about 150 a day or so. I'm sure as soon as this airs, we're going to get another wave of people. But we were helping people just by giving information at first, and then we realized that people would take the information and still the process is largely not understood by most people, and so there's a little uncomfortable barrier that they have to cross, and we found out that most people weren't continuing to actually protest. So that's when I said, well, if we're going to actually make a difference with this, we need to just actually help people protest.
All right, and we shuttled through your other tips there, going to an informal protest prior to your hearing date, also getting comps from your realtor. What are the other houses in the neighborhood selling for? And if you do a formal hearing, you definitely want to do your homework ahead of time and maybe check out some videos or go to some formal hearings from other people, because they're actually open to the public. Chandler, we have included your video, your how-to video with this on our website, WFAA.com. So folks out there, if you're looking to protest, that might be your video to check out. Chandler, thanks for taking the time with us. I know that you're extremely busy right now. If you are planning to protest your valuation, by the way, pictures are very important, and you should know that in the Dallas Appraisal District, they went out and snapped brand new photos of every single property back in 2015. I was actually out there with them, and we did a story on that. So don't take them old photos, because they know what it looks like as of 2015 for sure. They only got an exterior pic of the front, though. Certainly if anything has changed for the worse since then, definitely take pictures and snap photos of any problems on the side or back or interior of your house to help make your case.
People are in certain areas being taxed out of their homes.
Those are some strong words from the Tarrant County tax assessor collector. He says he is so tired of hearing other county leaders and city leaders saying that they're leaving your tax rate the same, because he thinks it confuses a lot of homeowners when their property taxes end up going way up anyway. He believes that even a lot of those elected leaders don't really know how property taxes work.
The majority of people that run for local office are good, decent people who want to do good things for their community, but they're not properly trained, I don't think, on tax law when they take office.
It's very basic, says Ron Wright. Two things determine your property taxes: the value of the property and the tax rate. Even when the tax rate stays the same, if your value goes way up, as it usually does in our hot property market, your taxes go up too. In just the last year, the majority of properties in North Texas, almost 1.5 million of them in all, have increased in value. And here's how much: by a total of more than $84 billion. Again, even if you leave tax rates the same, that's a whole lot more value and a whole lot more tax money being raised. Yet Wright has noticed that while hundreds of thousands of people protest their valuations, almost no one protests when the tax rate is being determined.
I was on the Arlington City Council for 8 years, and we rarely had more than 10 or 20 people at a budget hearing. I know at the county last year, when they met to adopt the budget and the tax rate, there were 2 people showed up to speak.
They had 2 people show up to speak about the budget and the tax rate last year in the county there. All of your local taxing entities will be discussing and setting their rates in public meetings in the months to come, so be a part of that budget process if you really want to make a difference.